Hello and welcome to Greenville Technical College's English department. We have put together a brief tutorial for incoming students on understanding acceptable versus unacceptable use of Grammarly and other online writing tools in your GTC English courses, otherwise known as "You told me to use Grammarly, so why am I in trouble?" Throughout the course, you will be consistently reminded through your assignment instructions that you are not allowed to use generative AI for your assignments. And so we have noticed in the past year and a half that there seems to be quite a bit of confusion on the part of students of what exactly we mean by generative AI. So let's clear the air on that. So when we are using AI misuse detectors and assignment submissions are being flagged, what is it suggesting might have occurred in terms of AI misuse? Well, it typically takes two forms, either prompt-based or rewrites. So for prompt-based, we're talking things like ChatGPT or other kinds of prompt-based tools. There's lots of them now. ChatGPT is just probably the most commonly known. And these pull from the entire internet and then compile a fairly detailed response based on whatever prompt it was given. And so, how have we seen students using this to cheat in our classes? Well, they have used it to do the hard work of analyzing assigned course readings or even videos that we have tasked students with reading, watching, and discussing in depth, providing insights on, making connections to other course material, etc. And so that has been farmed out by some students to prompt-based systems, particularly if it's something that is easily accessible online, like a TED Talk, or perhaps something that is, older and much discussed online, anything from a Malcolm X essay to Shakespeare and everything in between. They sometimes use it to try to get out of doing the hard work of creating an outline for an essay, coming up with a thesis statement that sounds good and makes sense, topic sentences, all of those things that we are tasking students with learning how to do this semester, or even writing the entire essay for them, or perhaps coming up with a discussion post that they can submit for a grade that unfortunately other students are going to see, read, and perhaps even reply to, thinking that those were your ideas when they were not. They were AIs. Or in some cases, we've seen students even use them to develop replies to other people's posts. Here, read this introduction paragraph that the student wrote for their literacy narrative assignment and tell me what I should say to them. So obviously, these are things that we do not want AI to be doing on your behalf. They are, of course, challenging, they're rigorous, and that is the whole point of college. You are here to learn how to think better than you did when you first showed up here. That is the entire point. And as it says in the quote from the famous educational psychologist, writing is not just how we express our ideas, it's how we develop our ideas. And so we are looking at evidence of your thought process and the origins of your ideas and how are they developed. And we are watching as those things develop, leading up to the things that you submit for our classes. It is a messy, magical process, and we are here to guide you along through that. Now, most students, when they are confronted about something coming up as potentially AI written, will say, "Oh, I didn't use ChatGPT or a prompt-based system, so I don't know why it's flagging me." And then with a little bit more discussion, they'll reveal, "Oh, well, I did use Grammarly or WordTune or Quillbot, or there's lots of them. I think Google has one now. Everybody has one now." And so what they had done was they had used what we call a sentence enhancement tool or a rewrite tool, or even sometimes called a paraphrasing tool. Here, read this difficult scholarly article for me and rewrite it in my own words, quote unquote, for me, which is a hard thing to do, of course, to explain something in your own words. And that's why we're asking you to do it. So students have been starting to try to rely on these tools to, in their words, often will say, "Oh, I wanted to sound more professional." Well, we don't expect students to show up here already sounding like professional writers. We do not expect that at all. That would be unfair. We are expecting them to show up and do their authentic best to learn, to improve, to take our guidance on board, and to, be authentic. So, what is OK Grammarly? Let's take a look because we do want you to use it. It is helpful. None of us is perfect. Even those of us who write all day, every day, or even teach writing skills for a living, um, everybody relies on tools like this to kind of look over their shoulder and to catch mistakes that they didn't know they were making as they were writing, just so that before they send it off to other people to see, they don't have any embarrassing mistakes in there, spelling errors or um, missing words, that kind of a thing. We all do it, and that's totally normal and totally fine. It's almost impossible to be a perfect, precise writer if you are thinking and writing quickly. And editing should really happen after all of the hard stuff, the meat of the writing is done. And so Grammarly can be a helpful tool to kind of speed that up a little bit or maybe catch things you might not have otherwise seen. So what it's done, since I have a browser extension that I use, where is it? Up here. I use it in Blackboard. I use it in my email. I use it all the time. It's very handy. I've always got it running. So what it's doing is it's underlining potential errors for me in different colors, and I'll explain what the difference is in just a second. So for instance, it's saying with this one, I should add a comma there. It's not doing it for me. I still get to decide whether I want to or not, but if I do, okay, great, easy breezy, right? Now, when we get down to something like this, notice it gives me two choices. Okay, it's telling me I need to use an apostrophe, which I do, that is correct, but it doesn't know whether I should put the apostrophe before the S or after the S. The question is, which one's correct? Well, Grammarly can't seem to tell based on the context of this sentence, but if we read it, it seems like the person who's posting this is talking about multiple students. And so in that case, you'd want to use the apostrophe after the S, which is what we do when the possession is for a plural noun, versus before the S, which is a singular noun. So yeah, it still requires you to have some fundamental foundational knowledge and basic grammar and mechanics and spelling and things like that, so that you can make good choices and accurate choices. But you don't have to take them. Like this one right here, it's telling me to put the in front of red herring, which I can tell you just wouldn't sound right. It wouldn't make sense. It would not be a good choice, and that's fine. Right? Grammarly is not perfect. It doesn't always understand context. Now, with things like the yellow underlines, those are premium suggestions. You have to pay for those. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really think the Grammarly Premium is worth the money. I don't think a lot of the suggestions are that good, frankly speaking. For instance, here, it doesn't tell me what the suggestion is, but I can tell you based on my experience using it that it's probably telling me I should switch aren't to are not and I've to I have, because Grammarly Premium hates contractions, or at least it thinks we hate contractions, English teachers, and that's not true. Not necessarily true. Um, I think it sounds weird when people never ever use contractions. It can sound, yeah, strange, wordy, overly formal. But that's a stylistic choice. And you may run into an occasion where you have an instructor who says no contractions ever. It's unlikely to happen here, but you never know. In any event, it's not necessarily going to help here and worth paying for sure. So, in any event, it's still my choice to make. Okay. Now, where things get into the realm of what we consider academic misconduct is when we ask Grammarly to rewrite for us, what's known as the improve it feature. So, notice that it has done all of that for me and then some. It has made some different word choices on my behalf that it thinks might be better, like resonated, um, which, okay, maybe you would have chosen that word, maybe you wouldn't have. I'm going to guess probably not. If you would have, you would have. But also it's sort of doing some sentence jujitsu on my behalf and kind of swapping things around, reordering things in a way that it thinks is better. So, for instance, one of the telltale signs that we've noticed of AI rewrites is lots and lots of introductory clauses, and you will learn about what those are in this course. And yeah, they can be good for sure, and that's why we're going to teach you about them. But do you need one? Let's see, two, three, I don't know, 10 in one post? No, that's too many. That's too many. It's too much of a good thing. And so it's doing what it thinks that you might want it to, or what we might want it to. Um, But in any event, it's making choices on your behalf. Let's try again, see if it, hmm, various English classes. Fancy. Pretty much the same. I've having gone through and done this already a few times. At one point, it gave me 5 paragraphs instead of 2, which, whew, that's definitely more than the student was asked to do. If we highlight it and use rewrite with Grammarly, here's where you start getting into prompts. Make me sound more professional. Let's see what it does. Ooh, it used the word fostering this time. Embark? Oh my, look at that. Um, and it, yeah, broke it up into 5. There we go. So, yeah, another thing we start to notice odd word choices, ones that it just seem unlikely that an incoming student would make. Words like embark and fostering, and who knows? Perhaps you are choosing words like that. But again, there are other tells as well. Think there are those introductory clauses again, and we've noticed too that students are all starting to sound very similar, that their individual voices, which everyone has that, your writing voice is unique to you, or it should be. And it is a telltale sign that everyone is starting to sound very, very similar in an eerie, almost spooky way. And that is not what we want. Not what we want. We are here to help you develop your voice and help you learn to make choices that you feel best represent that voice. Not just what to say, but how to say it in a way that is authentic to you. But we can't do that if you are handing the reins over to Grammarly to do that for you. So let's review. We do not expect perfection. We do not expect you to show up already good at the things we are here to teach you how to do. That would be unfair, and to err is human. We do not expect you to never make any mistakes, but we do expect you to make effort to learn how to correct those mistakes when necessary, and to use the tools that are available and are appropriate to help you with that. And there are lots of options for that that do not involve handing things over to AI to figure out for you. Grammarly is very helpful in pointing out possible spelling and punctuation errors, but then it's your job to decide whether to use those suggestions based on what you are learning in our classes. Rewrite tools such as Grammarly's Improve It feature, Google's Creative Rewrite, WordTune, there's tons of them, may not be used in your English classes at Greenville Tech because one, they remove your choices and your voices from the writing process. They erase you, and you are who we want to hear from. And as instructors, we cannot assess your actual skills and abilities based on your submitted work, and therefore cannot help you improve or fairly assign the grades that your diploma is based on. This is why we cannot give credit for work that has been AI generated in any way. And we do have additional help for you. If you are feeling shaky or you would like extra help, someone helping you sound more professional, sound better, we have options for that. We have a writing center that is convenient. It is free. You can get help from professional writing tutors, either online through Zoom or in person. They are there to assist you if you want extra hands-on help and editing advice. They won't fix anything for you, but they will help you learn how to fix it yourself. And that's what you're here for, to learn. So thank you for listening, and we hope to have a great semester and many semesters to come with you. Take care.